Hey everybody. So, can we talk about Godzilla, the 2014 edition? And can I say, this won't be spoiler free, guys. I'm going to talk about anything and everything that happened in that movie. And that movie itself was amazing. It was spectacular. I loved every second of that movie. Now, I'm a little biased. I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I have all 28 of his movies. My favorite movie of all time is the original Godzilla. I mean, I'm just super fan number one. But literally, I am a little biased when it comes to this. And I've been waiting for this movie for 4 years. It was announced in 2010. It was supposed to come out in 2012. It got delayed by 2 years. It's finally here, and it was worth the entire wait. So where do I begin? Well, first off, I'll talk about my one and only one, I guess, disappointment with the movie was that Bryan Cranston, he's only in the movie for like the first 30 minutes. Then he dies. And not that it's a bad thing, but I just expected more Bryan Cranston. From the previews, it seemed like he was going to be a bigger character. You know, he's doing that whole speech. He's practically in every scene, but like, nope. When he dies, that's it. The movie takes place around his son. And basically what his son does during the situations of when Godzilla and the other monsters are attacking. Yeah, that's right, I said monsters. But we'll get back to that in a moment. Most of the movie, the entire movie basically, is about what us as humans are going to do when these giant monsters attack that we can't stop in any way. Like, they're just these unstoppable creatures, and there's nothing we can do about it. But, everyone in the movie had amazing acting. I loved them. There was never a point where I just thought they were, phoning it in, I guess. There were no campy parts of the movie. You know, it was traditional. It was a serious movie. It proves that us as Americans, we can do Godzilla right. So let's talk about the other monsters. They're called MOTOs. They stand for Massive Unidentified Terrestrial Organism, and they were pretty cool. I liked that they were like new monsters. They weren't something from like the older Godzillas or whatever. It's basically Garth Edwards' own creation. Basically, there's these six-arm creatures. They have 2 legs as well. There was a male and a female. The male one had wings, so it could fly, but the female was 10 times bigger. 4 of their legs, or 4 of their arms, were basically used as legs, and they were like these, like, I'll show you, like, claws, I guess? Like claws. And, they basically used them to walk on, but they would also hook on stuff, too. And then, like, the other set of arms were just, like, little bitty, T-Rex arms that they used to, like, grab stuff. Like, they are actual hands, basically. One thing they did remind me is they kind of remind me a little bit of, Gaios from Gamera. If you guys don't know what either of those creatures are, don't worry about it. That's old monster movies. But just in their head, though. Their head looked a lot like Gaios. That was my only thing. Didn't make me think that they copied or anything. It definitely had a lot of differences to not be considered Gaios, but they were still cool. What they did was they caused EMPs constantly, so anything around them, all the electricity that is, would be shut off. Wouldn't work at all, and it was like constant. Well, the male kind of did it in, like, waves of EMPs, but it seemed like the female, like, wherever she was, it was constant EMPs. That's where Bryan Cranston's whole speech, where, like, this thing's gonna send us back to the Stone Age, he wasn't referring to Godzilla, he was referring to how the Moto shut down electricity, and without electricity, I mean, we lose a lot these days. But, the monsters were very cool. One thing that I loved about all the monsters were that they were animal-like. They were just, like the Motos. One, like I said, one was male, one was female, and all they were doing was, trying to get it on, guys. They were just looking to meet up with each other so that they can mate. Which, where they met up, happened to be San Francisco, so that became their nesting ground. Godzilla in the movie, he was just a hunter. I mean, if you want to think of him like as a lion, or he was stalking and trying to kill his prey. Well, not really stalking, but I mean, he was following the Motos wherever they went because he wanted to kill them, because that's what his instincts were. It wasn't like these monsters were, aliens from outer space that were here to destroy us or some other reason. They weren't lab experiments. They were just these prehistoric creatures, well, prehistoric, that they were just animals. That's all Godzilla wanted to do, which I found was a great take on it. I didn't feel like they were, like, campy, I guess you would say. They weren't doing anything stupid. Godzilla wasn't trying to save the planet. He was just doing what he felt, what his instincts were. And speaking of Godzilla, first off, he's ginormous. He's the biggest Godzilla, I think, to date. And he is awesome. A lot of people have been complaining he's too fat, but, I mean, I wouldn't say he's fat as much as he is, like, built. I mean, yes, he is big, but he's not big in the sense of, like, obese. He's big in the sense of, like, an NFL player. Like, he's huge. He's huge in the sense of, like, he's muscle. And, in the movie, he uses that a lot for, like, fighting, basically. Like, he's just, like, this strong monster. At one point, which was really cool, was, like, he grabs the other monster, and he's seriously, like, pushing them. I wouldn't say, like I said, I wouldn't say it's, like, fat as much as he is muscle. And, scientifically, it kind of makes sense because, one person, one of the biggest complaints, well, not complaints, but one of the things about Godzilla is, they all say, all scientists say it could never be possible, thank God, because a creature that size, bones would be too big, that his muscles couldn't support it, and that it would just collapse, onto itself. That's science. I'm not going to get into that a lot, but my point is, he was just beefy. He was a beefy Godzilla. He wasn't a fat Godzilla. Now, my favorite scene in the movie was the 2 atomic breath scenes. Before this movie came out, Garth Edwards, the director, was talking about how, yes, he will have the atomic breath in there, but he doesn't want it to be, I guess, like, spammed. He wants it to be like a last resort for Godzilla. He said, imagine as if, like, it's oh so painful for Godzilla to even use it, so he only uses it when he knows he has to use it. When the scene was coming, because it built up, and, like, you knew it was about to happen, I was seriously in the theater, like, this is it, the atomic breath, this is the atomic breath. And then when it happened, it was so perfect. It was amazing. It, honestly, it was kind of like flames. Not like flames, but like, imagine if, like, a flamethrower, like, it wasn't a solid beam as much as it was just, like, I guess, like, oil, like, in a way. Not oil. I'm describing it wrong, but, it wasn't basically a beam, but it was awesome. And it was his atomic breath. Like, it was done perfectly. The second time he did his atomic breath, it was so awesome. I was clapping in the theater. I was just like, thank you, that was perfect. Like, sweet. I mean, the movie all around, I loved it. Like I said, I'm a little biased, but I love Godzilla, and this movie now is my favorite movie of 2014. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, is falling slightly behind it because that movie was kick-ass too. That's a different story, but Godzilla is my favorite movie this year. It's going to be hard for something to top it. I don't know what will. I didn't know what was going to top Captain America besides maybe Godzilla. That was my hopes, honestly, because I've been waiting for this movie for so long. It did, but I don't know anything that could top Captain America besides Godzilla, so I don't know how something's going to top Godzilla. We'll see. The only other movie so far I'm excited for this year is Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm getting off topic. The point is, Godzilla, see it, It's an amazing movie. If you can see it in IMAX 3D, that's what I saw it in. It was perfect. It was spectacular. I got no other words